Let's talk about racism. So, this man, John Davidson, this guy right here, he is known for shouting a bunch of involuntary outbursts with coprolalia because he has Tourette's. Coprolalia is the involuntary tic. I believe it's about 10 or 13% of people that have Tourette's, and he is one of the few that has it. He said a racial slur towards Michael B. Jordan and Delroy Lindo while they were presenting an award. This sucks. Horrible, horrible moment for him. Oh, it's actually despicable. Also, he also shouted at "Shut the F up" during an opening speech by the BAFTA chair, Sarah Putt, and he said "F you" when the directors of the Best Children and Families Film Award accepted their prize. So he's been saying a lot of interesting things the entire thing, but the N-word was the big one. That was the last straw because, man, that's the big thing right there. There is a conversation about letting white neurodivergent people get away with things. There's a whole conversation about that. I think it's very important to have that conversation. I think it's very important to talk about the racial undertones of somebody that probably had a racist upbringing. And it's very important to talk about the fact that he knows the word. A lot of people say, oh, he knew the word, so he must have meant the word. It's involuntary, and I have intrusive thoughts, and I keep seeing a lot of takes like this. A lot of people say a lot of stuff when they say, oh, this is evil, and it's racist, and all this other stuff. And I agree that it is disgusting to say the word, and I'm not even going to combat that it's racist. And I got to be very extremely clear and grounded about this from the jump. More than taking a side, more than the dopamine hit of being right in public. And I love that. I love being right. It's my favorite thing on the planet. I love being right. Tourette's syndrome is a neurological condition rooted in differences in how the brain regulates motor control, impulse inhibition, and vocal output. It involves circuits between the basal ganglia, frontal cortex, and dopamine pathways. And in a small percentage of cases, that wiring produces coprolalia, right? Or coprolalia, which is an involuntary tic that can surface taboo words, slurs, or socially explosive phrases without intent. Doesn't have to have any context, without any belief attached to them. And the outburst at the British Academy of Film and Television Arts fits squarely inside what science already understands about how someone's brain sometimes misfires, right? We get it. It's how signals cross, how a word can erupt from a mouth like a sneeze from a nose, carrying nothing but the neurological static that produced it. There is nothing controversial, nothing morally confusing, nothing that requires hand-wringing or hot takes about acknowledging that a neurological event occurred in a body that did not consent to it, did not choose it, and cannot simply will it away through decorum or shame or force of character. That's basically how Tourette's works. As a matter of fact, the most ironic thing about this entire thing is that he's getting an award for a movie about his Tourette syndrome, so he wouldn't be misunderstood. And lo and behold, he is being misunderstood. So I'd like to talk about that as well as the connotations of the N-word being shouted and nobody doing anything about it, because that's kind of crazy. So before somebody comes and comments and says, hey, Tourette's here, somebody is going to comment and say that, I understand the science, right? I get it. But that does not require pretending the word did not hit. Boom. This is the exact part, this is the land, this is the lay of the land where all the important conversations live. This is where adult conversations happen, where people who actually want to understand the world rather than just win arguments are willing to sit with discomfort. Neurological explanation does not magically erase impact. Right? You're aware of that, right? It doesn't rewind the broadcast. Mind you, it wasn't even live. They could have taken the word out. It does not unhear what was heard. Adult conversations are capable of holding both facts, two of them, boom, boom and bang, yin and yang, at the same time. That's what it is. You don't have to fall into one side or the other. We understand. The sound still hits black ears in a space historically hostile to black people. That's what it is. It's still echoed through a broadcast watched by millions. Still carries centuries of violence regardless of how it arrived there. And I know some people that are going to say, well, you guys say the soft A all the time. What's wrong with the hard R? Very fun. Appreciate you. Shut up. It's regardless of Tourette's or anything of that variety. what I was looking for was the after effect. I have a friend who has Tourette syndrome. I have a friend who is a white guy. And because I constantly say slurs all the time, he involuntarily says slurs because he knows they're taboo words. He has, that's right, coprolalia. He has it. He continually says it. And I get him into a lot of trouble, especially in public. It is amazing. I love it so much. And he hates it. Oh, it's the worst feeling on the planet for him. He feels so guilty and self-conscious. And you can call me a bad person for it. I really don't care. It doesn't really matter to me. Because, I'm not going to stop saying the words I want to say. I'm really not. He says the words are already ingrained to his system. And even if he didn't want to say it, he's not going to do that. He's just happy I still hang out with him and don't judge him for it. That's where we're at. Welcome to real world friendships where I just mess with people. It's really good. And acknowledging the involuntary origin does not mean people have to pretend their bodies did not react. Does not mean they have to pretend their stomachs did not drop when they heard the word that carries so much weight. That's reality. And treating reality honestly is part of respecting everyone involved rather than flattening the entire situation. And I'm not going to flatten this entire situation because that's where the real anger is at this whole core of the situation. So, no, what happened after was kind of weird, right? Am I stupid? Am I dumb? It's what followed. Institutions said, we got to understand that he has Tourette's. We get that. We understand that. Brother, apologize. But, I don't want to offend anybody. Yeah, but you could just immediately apologize. Immediately. The broadcast remained intact with the slur audible, right? And this is the thing that kills me. This is the part that actually messes me up. Commentary referencing Palestine was edited out immediately. Interesting. The Palestine commentary was immediately edited out. That's interesting, but the hard R was immediately set out there. Maybe it's because they knew it was going to be controversial. They knew that a bunch of people were actually going to finally watch this British award show. Because I didn't care about it or know what was going on about it until someone showed me this clip. Maybe that's the important part. Maybe you manufactured this entire event. Maybe that's what happened. Not the slur, obviously, but maybe you manufactured the fact that you could have cut it out and the fact you kept it around. Maybe you did want to get me pissed. Maybe you wanted black people to talk about it and you wanted to stroke a race war. Maybe that's what you wanted to do. Maybe you wanted people to misunderstand Tourette's in some capacity, but I'm an adult. I'm not going to do that. And I'm also not going to let you weaponize neurodivergence. Big thing I hate, and this is something I despise with my whole chest, is when somebody will say, oh, I'm autistic, so XYZ. I'm BPD, so XYZ. And I know I said I'm BPD and I don't have BPD, but some people think that they are their mental illness, and this is what I've experienced, so this is my personal experience, so bada bing, bada boom, shut up. So, I am blank, so this is why I do this. And I completely understand that. And I also understand that a lot of people use that to get away with really horrible things. I understand that indefinitely. Well, I'm autistic, so, I can't do this. It's difficult for you to do it. Doesn't mean you necessarily can't do it. It's difficult for you to do it. And it's very hard for you to get to that. If you put the effort and time to work on something, you could do it. Well, how do you know? Well, I know because I have schizoaffective disorder. Naturally, people with schizoaffective disorder, especially around the 25-year-old age mark, and I'm almost 30 right now, I'm 29, you begin to realize that your brain is melting from the inside out, and you can't do a lot of regular things. And I can't tell when I'm awake or asleep most of the time, but I operate the same regardless. I live in a horrifying nightmare within my brain where I see hallucinations and I hear things all the time, and it's loud, and sometimes I wake up where my ears are bleeding, and I have nosebleeds, and my left eye is asleep. That means it can't wake up, and it's all done by my brain, and I can't feel my tongue, and it feels like my fingers are spaghetti, and it's horrifying. I feel like ants are crawling all over my body, and I feel like the government's against me all the time, which is actually true. Sadly, my paranoia is getting exacerbated by the administration, and it's horrifying. But I make 2 videos every day. I make 2 videos every single day about current events. So these aren't past videos. This is me every day. You know what day it is right now? It's 2/24/2026. I am making videos every day. And I still work out, and I still make breakfast for me and my wife. That's what happens. I'm able to do things because I sought the help to get it done. I did good activities to make sure I did preventative measures to make sure things can happen. I work on myself because mental health is your responsibility. It is. Shielding an institution from criticism by holding up a neurodivergent person as a human shield is not allyship. It is disgusting. It's exploitation. That's all it is. Using a real person with a real condition, with a real nervous system that does real things they cannot control as a convenient barrier between power and accountability is disgusting. Neurodivergent people deserve understanding, accommodation, and dignity, and that dignity includes not being used as a convenient explanation to avoid interrogating institutional behavior. It includes not being turned into a rhetorical tool to shut down conversations about power dynamics, about selective censorship, about who gets protected and who gets exposed when the camera's rolling. That's important. Treating it seriously means building systems that anticipate and appreciate moments like this, means having protocols that respond with care for everyone affected, not scrambling with this weird PR language once the damage is done. That is insane. Also, very importantly, and I hate this so much, I hate that I gotta bring this up because people want to act like it doesn't exist for some odd reason. White neurodivergence is given immediate innocence. It's given us it's immediate understanding. It's the benefit of the doubt. And every time a black person is discomforted by anything, it's every time a black person is uncomfortable, you gotta wait for context, for statements, for think pieces, for the community to process, for the institution to respond, for the conversations, for all this stuff. It's so stupid. I'm not by the way, this is not an accusation aimed at anyone with Tourette's. I'm not blaming the person, I'm not blaming John Davidson in any capacity. I'm not doing that. That's ridiculous. This is a pattern. I blame the institution. I'm mad at the systems. I'm mad at the structures that instinctively rush to explain away harm while asking marginalized people to absorb it quietly, to swallow it. That's what it is. That's what I'm doing. We have to wait our turn to actually have a real conversation until the explanation comes out. When in reality, you act like black people are stupid. We know about Tourette's. We're not stupid. I'm not dumb. I know what Tourette's is. I'm not an idiot. I know this. My issue is that it was addressed so late and weirdly delayed. And the fact that it wasn't a live broadcast, it was a willing choice to air that part. That is crazy. By the way, it's really important. Accountability is a real thing. Because a lot of people think accountability means punishment. No, it doesn't. That's not true. I don't think accountability means punishment. That's the distinction that everybody wants to not bring to the table. Accountability does not mean, I'm demanding blood. Get him out here. Whip his belly button. Yeah, get him. Smack his buns. Hit him with it. No, I'm not doing that. That's ridiculous. I don't mean ruining lives. I don't mean turning every mistake into some permanent record of, John Davidson, he's racist. And I also hate that people keep saying, well, how would he have heard the word? Bro was like 60. Obviously, he's heard the word. What are you, stupid? This is ridiculous. Accountability means structural responsibility. I'm asking why the systems that exist fail to contextualize, protect, anticipate. That's what I'm confused about. Why the apology came when it came. Why did it sound like it was written by ChatGPT? What is going on here? What's happening here? Is that interesting? Am I curious? Can I get an answer? Why too many people pretend they are interchangeable? Because people think that I'm trying to punish these people. I'm looking for accountability, right? I am so involved in mental health literacy. I need to understand involuntary action, right? I want to understand trauma responses. I want to understand historical context too. I want to understand why certain words carry a physiological weight behind them, right? Maybe that's important. Maybe understanding the clear neuroscience of how it arrived, a system that truly understands mental health would anticipate harm, would have protocols ready, would contextualize immediately, communicate clearly in real time. It would avoid this selective silence that implies political speech is more dangerous than racial harm. Wouldn't that be fun? Wouldn't that be great? Right? Because there's an important distinction that I learned, and this is something you should learn too. If you have education without the follow-up of the education, that is wallpaper. That is decoration. You're doing nothing. You have the appearance of understanding without the substance of it. It's weak empathy. It's fake empathy. Because empathy, without the structural behind it, collapses the second it is tested. And guess what, guys? It was tested here. It was tested. It was completely tested. I'm just really upset because this is about the 100th time this has happened. It's always happening over and over again. One side says we gotta get punishment. We gotta make sure that we gotta get the answers we want. And the other side is saying we gotta be quiet, guys. We can't do this. This is ridiculous. Both positions feel good online. Both positions allow people to feel righteous without feeling responsible. All the black people are going to agree with every take about the racism and all this stuff, and it's going to ignite the race war. Then all the white neurodivergent people with Tourette's are going to say, well, actually, I can understand what it's like to have Tourette's because I have Tourette's and it's the same thing. And I can understand saying an involuntary word. It's going to be the whole thing. It's going to be the whole thing. Both positions allow people to feel righteous without real responsibility. Real progress. Real progress is the kind that makes the next moment less harmful than this one. That's real progress. That's very real progress. I don't want people to be turned to mascots to protect powerful institutions from doing better. I don't want that. I want that middle ground that requires effort. I want that middle ground that prevents this from ever happening. That's what I'd like. That'd be cool. But it's not going to happen because people are stupid. And people love arguing, especially on the internet. It's super cool. Caring about mental health means caring about everyone involved, not just people that want to make no noise afterwards, right? That's important. Caring means holding the complexity, all of it, at the same exact time, and refusing to let anyone off the hook who uses genuine human struggle as a shield for institutional failure. Because that's my biggest issue. That's what's going on here. Anyways, I know you're going to tell me your opinions about everything. Go ahead and give me your comment section down below. I don't care if you made it through the whole video. Most people don't. Doesn't really matter to me. You already got your opinions. And probably 30 people already commented before even getting 6 minutes into the video. I already know that. Anyways, have a lovely day or night wherever you're at. I'm out. Peace. Bye.
I'm your nigga night, be my loyalties low. Happy to try what you need. Your world, I love to live in it. I love the ride when you're free.